All right, y'all, I'm here. Woo! Oh. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I had that playing first is because right now we are being joined by Vernon Jackson, one of the members of Step by Step. What you saw right there was the NCAA Awards. I believe it's like mid 90s. That was the first time Step was put on a national stage for an award ceremony. And one of the choreographers, Vernon Jackson, is joining us right now. So I'm gonna make sure I plug him in. I had to play that. I had to play that. Cause y'all did y'all see that audience? Did y'all feel that? Did y'all feel that? I felt that. I get emotional watching that, man. I get
Yes, sir,
emotional
man.
watching that, man. I get it for real. I get emotional watching that, man. Cause hey, first
That's
off,
good.
so let me introduce the show. And then right now I'm in a little bit of fan mode right now, all right? So you gotta excuse
So good. It's
me.
all good.
All right. Welcome to World of Step backstage interview. I'm your host, King Leo, the CEO and the founder of the Players Club Entertainment. Okay. And I'm here with Vernon Jackson, one of the members of Step by Step. Uh me and Stepmaster J know each other, you know,
Okay.
but I've never
Okay.
spoken to you.
Okay.
Stepmaster J knows you guys are the reason why I step. Okay.
Nice.
I was a young kid. One day I was sleeping. Apollo was on. I woke up. Apollo was going off. And you heard step by step. And I'm like, what is?
Right.
And I opened my eyes and y'all, boom, 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 boom. So from 93 to 96, I looked for y'all every weekend to see when Stomp was coming on. Because I'm
Wow.
old. I'm in my 40s. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Every
Okay.
every weekend, when is that show coming back? I taped everyone from 93 to 96. And
Oh,
as a kid, now this VHS days, so that's dedication.
right. Right.
And as a kid, I was in my house and I'm step by step, no freaking you know what I mean, going in. And so it's an honor to speak to you, my brother, for real. You know, I already gave Jay his flowers while he's alive. So now I'm giving you your flowers, my brother, and
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, you may not know it. I know you work with kids and stuff like that, but in the Bronx, New York, step was irrelevant.
mm-hmm.
Irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm from. And because
Okay.
of y'all, man, because of y'all birthed a beast. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Y'all. So kudos to you, my brother.
So,
Kudos.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, my brother.
Okay. So let me say, you're bringing tears to my eyes right now, honestly.
Yeah.
So, excuse me.
Nah, it's all right, bro.
This is authentic. This is real because I
No,
had no
this is
idea.
real. This is real, man.
I
This is
had no
real
idea you
talk.
were watching. And to be honest with you, um, there's a number of guys at your age that we inspired a whole generation, actually.
Mm.
And we actually shot Stomp from 1992 to 96.
Mm-hmm.
And our whole objective was to bring unity back then amongst all the fraternities and sororities, actually.
Yeah.
And we knew that people were watching, but it wasn't until later, until like within the last 3 to 4 years, that I
Mm.
recognized that we inspired like really a whole generation of
Generation.
kids, back then. So the reason why these tears are authentic and real is because of the fact that I had no idea that you knew. And so when someone have been watching your work and know about your work, because obviously we're pre-social media, which
Of
is why
course.
a lot of kids do not know about us right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the mere fact that and you can help tell the story is why I'm here. And that's what's
Exactly.
important to me right now because of the fact that you must know your history. You have to know your history.
Mm-hmm.
And that touched me. And back when you were talking to Remo and you were saying, you're the reason why I step, you're the reason why I step. I have a couple of frat brothers
Mm-hmm.
who told me, God, excuse me.
Now it's all
This
right, man.
God.
Get your flowers while you here, man. This is why we here, man. We want you to get your flowers while you can feel it and appreciate it. Because, like I said, man, listen, in New York City, man, that show, the things that y'all were doing, bought Step alive. You understand what I'm saying? Because I literally took those tapes to every school I went to that I was teaching as a teenager. And I'm like,
Right.
yo, look at this show. Look at this show.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
man, y'all, you know,
And
like
the
you said,
crazy,
because Instagram and stuff wasn't out, we couldn't reach
exactly.
y'all to say, hey, thank you. So now
Right.
we're saying thank you, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
That means so much, you know. And back then it was VHS tapes, and which a
Yes.
lot of these kids and
Yeah,
youngsters
they
don't
don't
know
know,
about.
man.
All they know
Man,
is social media. So
yes.
so and yeah, so to get the word out back then by way of VHS tapes, and obviously we were on the college scene, and by us being members of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and
Okay.
the word spread. So a lot of people knew about us when we used to. Solicit teams to step on that show. We would have them send in VHH tapes
Yeah.
to us, and we would select the best teams in our opinion. You
Hmm.
know, that were television ready in order to bring the art form at its best. And
Yeah.
so we would select those teams, and we would fly them to Orlando,
Hmm.
Florida.
Yeah,
The
Disney World,
Disney
right?
World,
Yeah,
Orlando,
yeah,
Florida.
yeah, yeah.
However, 1992, the first Stomp was shot out here in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Um, and the actual creator of Stomp, who was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, Frank
Okay.
Ricardo, he had this envision because it was right after the Rodney King riots.
Okay.
Uh, and yeah, 1992 was right after
Yeah,
Rodney
I
King
was in that.
riots.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely, I
and
was a
so
kid, but I knew that.
it was a need for unity
Okay.
and amongst the world. And so we use our art form as a voice, you know, which is what we've always done. Step in,
Mm.
we can use our artistry as, you know, to speak, you know, movements and revolutions and, you know, to make our statements. And so unity was never being done back then, especially amongst the fraternities and sororities. In fact, when there were step shows back then, before Stomp, there was never like unity step,
Got you.
especially on a national platform. It was
Yeah.
never unity step. It was always in competition. If they used to bag on each other, our
Yeah.
frats and sororities used to bag on each other, talk about each other as a part of their competition. So it
Mm.
wasn't until then, until we start stepping in unity, and I'm proud to we call that the golden era of stepping. So
Yeah.
that whole '90s,
You
you
see what
know,
my shirt say, right? Established 96.
yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about.
90s,
1992 to
man.
96. Those are the
Yes.
years. So
Woo!
those are the prime years.
Yes.
So not only did we do Stomp back then, you know, but a lot of the black television shows we did back then, like a
Yeah, so
Fresh
before
Prince.
we go in, yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
let me segue into that. So, ladies and gentlemen, who's just joined, this is Vernon Jackson. All right, he was one of the founding members of a group called Step by Step. That okay, if anybody know the Players Club and us, I always say, oh well, we did this first and we opened the doors for the generation. But these guys was who opened the door for my generation. Okay, if it wasn't for if it wasn't for these guys, I never would have had idea that Step could be on TV or Step could be in movies or things like that. It was because of this man right here, Mr. Vernon Jackson, and his partner at the time, Stepmaster Jay. So right now, please give us a list of the accomplishments. Like I started off the live with the NCAA awards for oh man, whoo,
So um, that's actually the NAACP Image Awards, and we
yeah,
choreographed that. We choreographed that 3 years. We
okay,
choreographed it in 1992 was our first year,
okay,
and then 1995 and 1996, which was
yeah,
the Unity Step year. So we
yeah, that yeah,
choreographed it
yeah,
3 years. But
okay,
prior to that, um, I started out. I pledged my fraternity at Cal State Northridge University,
okay,
and I pledged. Date myself, however, but I pledged in '86. You
okay.
know, so and still looking like this. So
Yep, yep,
anyway.
yep. Let them know. Black don't crack. Black don't crack, brother.
That's God. So you know, I still can be hired to step amongst the youth and step with
Yep,
the best of them right
I
now.
hear you.
So anyway, prior to that, prior to Stomp, our first gig was a step in Coca-Cola commercial. That
Okay.
was in 1989. That was the first. Then from there, we found out that day that Debbie Allen was
Oh,
having our Yes, the Debbie Allen was
Yes.
having an audition at her house for the Ozzy Brother video, and Angela Winbush. It was
Okay.
Angela Winbush. Excuse me,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
Angela Winbush, and Debbie Allen was the director and choreographer. But we went to her house after we shot the Coca-Cola commercial. The next day, we were at Debbie Allen's house, and she really auditioned us. She's always wanted to work with the real steppers, and
Yeah.
she, was appreciated the fact that we were members of a real fraternity, which is
Yeah,
Alpha
yeah.
Phi Alpha. And so, but prior to meeting her, we had always said and put it in our psyche, in our mind, that we want to be on a TV show, A Different World.
Mm-hmm.
However, we did do the gig, the Angela Winbush videos. We did several videos, and that Debbie choreographed, and we
Okay.
danced and stepped in.
Yeah.
From there, it led to A Different World. It had led to her husband Norm Nixon managing our group, which we were called Step by Step. Right
Okay.
now, currently, I added we're Step Master Step by Step. When
Okay.
I rebranded. So from there, we did A Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Uh, we worked with Michael Jackson as well,
Okay.
on a project called Is This Scary? And that
Oh yeah, of
project,
course. Yeah, I know that. I
yeah,
know that.
we worked on that, and then that got transferred, since that got shelved, because that was when Michael was having some
Yeah.
issues, and so it got shelved. And we went on to do the Adams Family Value video with the tag team, and then we did, of course, as you stated, Stomp 92, 93, 94, 95,
95,
and 96,
96, yeah.
which is television's first and only, at this point, national step show competition. It was the first. It was
Mm-hmm.
before So You Think You Could Dance and
Yeah, yeah,
Dancing with the Stars and
yeah,
World of Dance. It was the first,
yeah.
And at the time, it was aired, like, I think, on BET, and aired in market shares in New York on Apollo. It came on
Yeah, it
late,
was like
late
on
at
Channel
night.
4 in New York.
Yeah,
We went
yeah,
to
yeah.
DC. Yeah.
So then we did Gatorade
Yeah,
commercials.
I seen that. Yep.
We toured with a lady by the name of, a lot of people probably don't know from the new generation, but I'm sure you probably heard of CC
Oh
Peniston.
yeah, CC Peniston. Come on now.
Yeah,
Keep on
yeah,
walking. Come
yeah,
on, brother.
yeah.
You talking to somebody who knows
And
real music.
so
So,
CC Peniston, and then we got our album deal, which didn't do well at the
mhm,
time because it wasn't marketed well.
yeah.
It was no social media, it was no nothing, and that's a long story.
Hmm.
So, and I did the TV show called Sister Sister.
Okay, with the two hosts here
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, Tia Tamara. We toured, did so much, all throughout the '90s. Anytime it was stepping on television, pretty much, it was most of the shows. It was us.
Okay.
Especially most of the black television
Black
shows
shows.
are always us. We choreographed the movie House Party 2.
Okay. That was the
Yeah,
college
rent
one.
that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was our first $10,000 paycheck. Like, woo, okay. So it was just a ride, but we worked with Jasmine Guy. She actually had an album. She's
Yeah, I
from
remember.
a lot of new generation don't know, but she's from the television show A
Different
Different
world. Yeah.
World.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she toured. We did a world tour with her,
Okay.
and work with kids. I've been working with kids. I started out at a place. It's called a place called Home. It's
Okay.
a nonprofit. So I started teaching and working with kids as a part of my side hustle.
Okay.
Gigs were coming in at the time. They were constantly coming in. Even we had a agent, but a lot of our jobs we got through word of mouth, and people getting in contact with us. So
Yeah.
we had an agent, but at that particular time, it was because we were so innovative. We needed an agent, but we kind of were doing cool without one. It didn't
Okay.
either or. We
Yeah.
would bring gigs and jobs to our manager Norm Nixon at the time. We had it like that because we had a monopoly on the stepping. We were the first.
Yeah.
In that genre, in that era, to do it, to bring it from underground to mainstream. In
Yeah.
fact, a lot of the gigs came to us at that particular time because we're from the era that people, if you wasn't in a fraternity or sorority at that particular time, during the era from where we're from, a lot of people wasn't stepping.
Yeah.
There was no youth stepping. There was
Hmm.
no church stepping or cheerleading stepping at the time. It was strictly done through fraternities and sororities and competitions throughout the United States. That's how
Yeah.
it was, especially at the black college campuses. So
Okay.
You know, we helped kind of birth and bring stepping from underground to mainstream. Before our frat brother Will Packer did Stomp the Yard and all the other stuff, that came way after. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
he knows
So,
that, of
so
course.
question: being
Hmm.
that you seen it all, done it all,
Hmm.
what advice would you give this generation to try to help them keep that same passion, that same love, that same hunger that we had in our generation
Hmm.
in today, where it's so many different, now with so many different avenues of being seen and getting your name and team
Right,
out
right,
there.
right, right.
What advice would you give this generation? Because we have a lot of different youth from all over the world, from Peru, the United Kingdom,
Right, right.
West Africa is on here watching. What advice would you give them, the hungry, starving ones, in order to rise up?
When you step, pretty much when you step, and I'm gonna keep it real with you,
Yeah,
if you step with purpose, you know, just don't step just to be stepping. Know your history, and I appreciate the world to step. You know, Remo and you guys, I love what you guys are doing right now because you're bringing our culture together right
thank
now,
you.
and you're respecting our culture, and
Yeah,
you know that, and so that's important. That's vital and important. You can be the best stepper all you want to. That's all good, you
yeah,
know. But as to me, as long as you respect our culture and know the history and know that it even didn't start from us, it come
yeah,
from our ancestors, you
yeah.
know, and because there was a time when stepping was used as a form of communication, and it's still used as a form of communication. But
Hmm.
literally, it was used as a form of communication in the diamond mines in Africa. They couldn't speak, they couldn't step. So if they want to tell their fellow brother a word or a message, they use their body as language, and
Hmm.
we understood that. And so,
Yeah,
as long as the new generation, you know, if you're just not taking the culture and running with it and trying to take it and say, "Oh, I started this," as respect the culture, you know.
hmm,
And so that's what I would give: know your culture and respect the culture, you know, because everybody is literally stepping right now. But
hmm,
now, if you're not stepping with purpose and teaching with purpose, and using your artistry as a voice, you know, it's meaningless to me. You
yeah.
know, it's like it doesn't mean anything. You know, you can have all the groups and you can be the best steppers and everything, but if you don't know your history, if you don't know the culture, and you don't respect the culture, it's not going to respect you. And so, and
Exactly.
then when you go out and you step in front of people who have paid dues in this culture, in this art form, and you
Hmm.
teach the culture, and they hear it and they see it and they feel it, it's going to make the world a difference. You know,
Yeah.
for instance, if you go out and you give and you pay homage to our ancestors, it comes a part of Africa, you know, and the diamond mines that come from the black college and the fraternities and sororities, and and that's why we step. You know, we use stepping as a way of, this is the initial. No joke. We
Hmm.
first start working with kids, it was our intent and our purpose to gather their attention and teach them that you must go to high school and go to college, because you got to keep in mind that at that particular time in the era that I'm from, if you wasn't in a fraternity or sorority, you wasn't really stepping. So we
Yeah.
used it as a tool to inspire kids to go to college.
Yeah.
We taught this art form and we inspired them. At the time, this is at the time. If you
Yeah.
want to really get the full brotherhood and sisterhood, if you choose to go to a college, and if you choose to pledge a fraternity sorority, that's when you get the full appreciation of it. But
Mm.
now, like you Players Club, you formed your own family, and World of Step, and everyone who's out there who's stepping now. As long as you form your brotherhood and your sisterhood and your unity within that group and your family within that group, and that group step with purpose, and then when I see you step, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to feel that. So if you're just out there just stepping, just frivolously, just stepping, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything. Anybody
Yeah.
can do that. That's what
Yeah.
makes our art form different, because we step with
Yeah.
passion. It has to be authentic and real, So
Definitely.
that's
Definitely.
the advice I would give to the young kids, this young generation, step
Yeah.
with purpose.
Step with birth.
Yeah.
So what are you up to now yourself? Like, what is going on with Vernon Jackson now?
So currently is a couple of things. Well, actually, for the past 7 years, I'm the dance and step coordinator for the Metro of Los Angeles Boys and Girls Clubs. So I oversee 4 different Boys and Girls clubs here in Los Angeles, and I have like six dance and step teams here in Los Angeles. So I've been doing that for giving back to the youth and teaching the youth for the past 7 years.
Okay.
Um, However, since this epidemic, this pandemic,
Yeah. This pandemic. Yeah.
since this pandemic has started, so I've gotten back to the roots, and getting back to my culture, my step culture, and everything. And so, watch out for One Global Step that I've
Okay.
started. It's called One Global Step.
One global step. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be like it's a step academy, but it's not just stepping, it's mentoring as well. It's a lot going on. So we're
Okay.
just not just one focus on one area.
Yeah.
We focus on the development of the full entire youth and sending them to college, and and again teaching them if you don't want to step, for instance, you don't have to step. You may find
Mm-hmm.
your purpose through stepping, but One Global Step is going to be a tool in the market and to get them on the right path and help inspire, hopefully, them to go to college and, graduate from high school, then go to college and be productive members into society. And so you'll be hearing more about that, virtually. It's called One Global Step. So those are
Oh
some of
yeah.
the things I'm working on. But let me
Mm-hmm.
say something I did mention, one thing I did mention. In 2014, um, well, actually, back before that, in 1993, we also did a man called Arsenio Hall. You
Oh yeah. Of
probably
course.
heard of him, yeah. Um, exactly, the original Dog Pound, right?
Exactly.
And so we did in 1993. We did appeared on Arsenio Hall show, and we brought the Qs on there, Omega Psi Phi, with us because they won 1993 Stomp
Yeah. I
competition.
saw. I know that one by heart.
Right. And so Arsenio was actually in the audience in the piece that you just saw when
The
at the
NCAAC. The
NAACP.
NAACP
Arsenio
award.
was
Yeah.
one of the ones that stood up and gave us a standing ovation. And he was like, "Whoa, they bad!" So he asked us to come and appear on his show in 1993. So we did
Okay.
that. We did that with the Omegas. It was profound. But then I brought that up because of the fact in 2014, before he got canceled, um, we rebranded ourselves back on his show again, and that's when we became Step Masters, Step by Step. And that's what
Okay.
you know. That's what you know us today. We're still Step by Step, but we're called Step Masters,
Step
Step by
masters.
Step. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so,
Gotcha.
now step. We still do private shows. In fact, if you saw Joe Brown
Yeah.
before this interview, he used to he used to do some of the. We used to do gigs, and we still do private gigs
Hmm.
at schools, and where we go out and we step for kids, and we perform and we teach and we educate through stepping. So there's several things. One global step. Is coming up. I'm still
Gotcha.
with the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm
Hmm.
still the Step Master, Step by Step. Um, we have our things that we go out. We still go out to perform and still educate. And teach
Yeah.
our history and teach our culture and teach how we bring stepping from underground to mainstream by the things that
Gotcha.
I just mentioned. So yeah,
So
and go ahead.
no. I'm sorry.
I was just
Yeah.
going to
Finish
say
that last part.
I'm very very to see the vision being manifested right now by
Uh-huh.
things of what these youth are doing right now all over the world. It hits me in the heart, and to see what you guys are doing helping educate these kids it means so much to me. And so that's why I say keep doing what you're doing, because I'm gonna keep doing
Yeah.
what I'm doing. I'm this boot. I'm stepping.
Ah.
it's 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 Doc Genesis. That's my name, and that's a
Uh-huh.
military boot. And I got that
Okay.
tattoo years ago because that means I'll be stepping for the rest of my life.
That's beautiful, my
Period.
brother.
Yeah.
So listen, like I said before, I just wanted to make sure I gave you your flowers while you're here. And as a CEO of a step company now, I was a kid. It
Mm-hmm.
was a time in life where I went down the wrong path, and this art form put me
Mm-hmm.
back on. And it was because I used to watch the shows that y'all put together.
Wow.
So just understand, you saved lives doing something you
Wow.
love and doing something that you were doing, not knowing that or the purpose was, steps, the show Stomp purpose wasn't to save life, it was to inform and entertain
Right,
and
right. And
y'all was
educate.
saving lives, man, because I literally had Bloods and Crips stepping in the streets because they saw what we was doing and they, yo, what's that stuff? What's this?
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
And I would
right,
run back home, press play, like, okay, you know what I'm saying?
right.
So on behalf of World of Step, my brother, we say thank you for giving us history today.
Yes.
Anybody that's listening, please understand this man has been through it all, seen it all, done it all. Listen to the words that he said. Take heed to it. We at World of Step truly, truly thank you for giving us your time and support. Thank you for taking us. Now I'm looking around because I want to send you off right. Hold on. I got to send you off right, brother. Where's my thing? Here we go. Look at you, Vernon.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, everywhere. Let's go. Woo!
Hey.
Yeah. So, my brother, thank you again so much. God bless you.
Yes,
We
sir.
love you. Be
Yes,
safe
sir.
out here. Hopefully, we'll see you very, very soon, my brother.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Thank you, bro.
All right, my brother. Thank
Okay.
you.
Salute.
All right.
Okay.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was Vernon Jackson, one half of Step Masters, Step by Step. Okay. And right now, next you're going to meet Step Master J, his partner, the other guy you saw on the video. You know, and now, you know, y'all going to talk to him, ask him questions. He's going to give y'all history too. I'm just typing this in so we could pin it. Okay. I know I went a little bit over. Sorry about that, guys. Because, yeah. So I'm about to click off. Remo's about to come on. Thank y'all very much. Stay tuned. The history is Step.